Hey everyone, Mike Toretto here with a new series we're calling How to Avoid Dating Disasters. Each video will focus on a new disaster and tell you how to handle it or prevent it in the best way possible. Today's topic, what to do if your date gets drunk. This is a situation where your date seems to be drinking too much or too fast, or you show up for the date and they are already drunk.
Are you drunk?
No, I didn't have anything to drink.
You into this?
What is this?
The judge recommended I get one.
Why is this a disaster? Well, first off, some of us don't drink, and some of us don't drink often. So if you're one of those people, you might be disappointed to find a person drunker than you when you were hoping for a more sober conversation. It's going to be a mismatch of expectations, and that might end up feeling like a waste of your time. Second, if this person is getting drunk and sloppy, you're not going to want to be associated with their bad behavior. Third, even though alcohol can sometimes be a truth serum, hanging out with somebody's drunk persona is usually not a good reflection of how that person is going to be when they're sober. And if you're trying to start a dating situation, they're supposed to be sober around you most of the time. So it's like you're not really getting to meet the real person on your first date. Lastly, getting inappropriately drunk or drunk at inappropriate times is a major red flag. At a minimum, it signifies that they need alcohol as some sort of social crutch, either to relax or feel like themselves or something. And at worst, of course, they could potentially be an alcoholic. And nobody wants to choose to date an alcoholic if they can prevent it. Step 0, how to prevent. A little communication and planning can go a long way towards preventing this. First off, and most obvious, don't set up your dates at a place that serves alcohol. Instead, ask the person to go for a walk in the park, get some ice cream, maybe play some skee ball at an arcade.
It's time to put balls in holes.
You love skee ball.
Most adults haven't been on one of these high school style non-drinking dates in years, so this suggestion might be more refreshing and appreciated than you might expect. Next, communicate your desire to stay sober if this is something that's important to you. You can say, I'm not much of a drinker, or I'm a sober person, so let's skip the booze today and meet up for a nice walk in the park where we can get to know each other better. If you get resistance to this idea, you might decide that you and your date aren't compatible enough and choose to cancel the date before potentially wasting your time. Now for what to do in the moment. Step 1, decide if you need to end the date. If your date has gotten so drunk or out of hand that you know you need to end the date early, refer back to my video called What to Do If She Doesn't Look Like Her Picture for a polite and quick way of cutting the date short. Reasons to end things early would be if she's obviously intoxicated, if she's falling over, if she's nodding off, if she's getting loud and unruly and calling attention, making a scene.
Girls don't care at all. Girls just be like, hey, where are you going? This is my song.
If you want to be a gentleman, you can call her a cab or use her phone to order her an Uber. Don't get suckered into feeling responsible for her bad decisions. You don't have to pay for her ride home because she got a little out of hand. That's her responsibility. Once you've called a car service for her, you can feel like you've done your duty. If your date drove themselves to the venue, the most you can do is alert the venue staff. Remember, it's illegal for them to serve an intoxicated person, so you can at least make sure that they're not going to get worse after you leave. Depending on the venue, they might even insist that she take a cab home to make sure that they are not liable for any potential accidents. However, you don't need to stick around for this. Once you've notified the staff, you are free to make your exit. Step 2, pump the brakes subtly. If you decide that things are salvageable and you want to stay on the date, then it's your responsibility to pump the brakes subtly without making your date feel bad about their drinking. Subtle ways of doing this are to suggest spending some time away from the place that serves booze. Fortunately, drunk people are more open to suggestion and their cognition isn't so sharp, so you shouldn't get much resistance to your idea even if it's not something you would do under normal circumstances. So for example, you could suggest going for a walk around the block if it's a nice night to give them some time to process the alcohol, or you could suggest changing venues to some place that doesn't serve booze and only serves food so you can help trying to get some food in their stomach and maybe balance them out a little bit. Step 3, show some compassion. If subtle hints aren't working, then you're going to have to say something. Saying something is of course easier if you have social freedom and don't care so much about how the other person might react. Social freedom is an important skill to have because it makes everything easier and prevents us from wasting our time. If you need some help with social freedom, click the links on the side for more information and click the link below to apply for training today. But what do we actually say? To start, ask them flat out if they're feeling nervous because of you or because of the date. Booze isn't called liquid courage for no reason. Most people drink or drink too much because they're feeling nervous or insecure. So calling it out is a good way to break the tension and actually start getting real with each other. You could put it like this. I noticed you seem to be drinking a bit, and I'm hoping it's not because I'm doing something to make you nervous. This calls out the behavior you want to address while suggesting that you might be the cause of it, which saves them a little bit of face, and invites them to comment on it and open the discussion. If they say they are nervous, then comfort them by saying, it's okay, it's only a date, you're nervous too, and that you would prefer to meet their real nervous self rather than their tipsy pretend self. If they deny being nervous, then you could say something like, okay, cool, I'm glad that's not the case, but I'm actually getting a little bit nervous because I'm worrying that we're not going to have a good connection since I don't plan on drinking much more. Do you mind if we keep the same drinking pace? Step 4, deal with the fallout. Like most dating mistakes, people don't always know that they're making them. So handling the situation like we've discussed here allows people to save some face, not feel so embarrassed, and have a change in the behavior that you're looking to help save the date. In other words, this may be another situation where the person is actually thinking, thank you for saying something and speaking up, so that way the evening can improve. On the other hand, they may feel embarrassed regardless of what you do. Or they might get upset that you implied that they drank too much. They might not look at the situation as happening in this one time, one instance, and instead think that you're calling them an alcoholic, or if other people have commented on their drinking, then all of their frustration and anger about that could bubble up to the surface. In that case, you want to refer back to my video called What to Do If They Don't Look Like Their Picture for tips on how to end dates quickly and efficiently. So that's it for today, guys. Make sure you check back tomorrow for another great tip. If you're interested in learning more about live training, check the links on the side. And if you already know you want to train, apply for a free consultation in the link in the description. Like, share, and subscribe if you like what we're doing, and let us know some of your dating disaster stories in the comment section below. Maybe we'll make a video about it. In the meantime, be ballsy.
I'm sorry.
Oh, that's okay.
I'll still have sex with you if you want.
You know what? I think I'm gonna pass on the sex if you don't mind. Did you have a daiquiri tonight?
Yeah.